Today I'm going to teach you how to make the new PMP exam easy peasy. All right, let's do this thing. Boop. Here we go. All right, so PMP exam success sequence with Scott. The new exam has changed. Boom, it's all different. And we are 10 for 10 in getting students passed. So everyone that's walked in has come out with a big old smile and a metaphorical hug that they passed the PMP exam. So we know something about getting people through. I'm going to walk you through how we do it. That's going to make everything easy for you. I'm going to walk you through 3 simple steps. These are super duper effective and they're super duper not what you expect, but they work. All right. So walk with me. Okay. So every student that comes to us, we walk through the same process. Okay. And so one of the things that we have the benefit of is a lot of people have failed before. A lot of people are super worried. A lot of people have struggled with other providers, other training methods, other ways to learn, other reading things, whatever. So we get to handle a lot of those people, and we've gotten really, really good at helping them. Okay. And so what we do first, and what I've realized through research, tests, etc., is that the number one thing that I've got to do with every student, and this is by God the most important thing that we do right off the bat, is that we have to find out what is really worrying them, what their real fear is, and we've got to bring it out and get them to own it. Okay? Because everybody comes with some kind of baggage. All right? And before we can make things easy, before I can streamline things, before I can go through these other steps, we've got to take all that, whatever it is inside of you that's holding you back to saying, I'm worried about this new exam. All these things. I wonder if, or what if, all these things. And I've got to help you bring them to the surface. So step number 1 is that we have to focus on our fears. Okay? Right when you get into it, like, what are we worried about? Like, I'm worried that I'm going to fail. Why? I'm worried what people are going to say. Why? I'm worried what will happen to my job if I don't do well. I'm worried it's going to take too long. I'm worried that it's going to impact my family life. I'm worried it's going to impact my professional life. All these things that are inside of you bouncing around, we've got to unearth those and get them on to paper. Because there's a quote, I think it's a Stoic philosopher that says, we suffer more in imagination than we do in reality. So for a lot of you, if we think about your computing power up there in your brain and in your heart, a lot of it's tied up with this worry. And so once we take that, we acknowledge it and we put it out there and we put it on a piece of paper that we can look at, we can start to deal with it, to say, okay, so how would we deal with it? Is it a real concern? And we put it out there. So the first thing we need you to do is to be honest. And this sets us up for the other steps. So if you want to make this easy, you want to make anything easy, you got to say, what is holding me back? What fears do I have? What is driving me down? And get those out there. Okay, so own our fears. Focus on the fears, own them, and don't let them overtake us. That's number 1. Now we do that with every single student. Okay? It's a big step. Now number 2. What we've done in doing that is we've cleared out. We didn't kill those fears. We just put them in front of us. But we've opened up the opportunity to learn at that point, which is super important. So what do we do with the learning opportunity? Now that we've clarified, we're ready to learn now. Fears still exist, but we're going to manage them. How do we learn? The way that we make it easy is we start by looking at the universe, not the dust. Okay? Every single instructor and training thing in the world does it opposite. They focus on the granularity of the details, the processes, the thises, the that's, the inputs, all these things, these tools, these techniques, all these details, the dust in the universe first. And they shoot you with all this dust. And what you feel like is you're in a sand blaster. And you're just getting pelted by dust and sand. And you're just trying to survive. And what you need to do, and what we do, is that we go out and make you the master of this world. And you look at the universe and understand the universe for the dynamic system that it is. And you see it that way. And you simplify it. And we start from that big picture out in. So once we do that, then we can have frame of reference, confidence, understanding, and a framework, both for waterfall and agile, that we can dive down and build upon. Now, if you go the opposite way, I know that this world has been built from dust accumulating, but it's very hard and it takes a long time, okay? And it's chaotic. We don't want any of those things. We want simplicity. The systems, the universes are already built. We don't have to create them from ground up. We need to interpret them in the right way. So don't start with the granularity dust killing you. Start with the system and then methodically go through. Okay? Now there is a system there. You might ask yourself, how the heck do I do that? Well, it requires you to have discipline and be led by disciplined people to look at things different and to guide you along a path. And that's what we do. So we do not go through, in a sense, the new structure, people, process, business, environment. That is there. It's a framing mechanism, but we start on core, agile, and waterfall characteristics. Do we know why this universe exists? Do we know how it works? Do we know the mechanism and how it plays and how to evolve through it? If we know that, then we can build complexity into it. That's why every single one of our students walks in without a data dump, with only their with a smile and their confidence in their brain, and they ace it. They do awesome. So that's step 2. Let's just review. Step 1, we've got to unearth our fears so that we can manage them and see the reality behind them. Then we clear our mind and we go in and look at the universe, not the dust. Now, the third thing that's really, really important is you've got to use multiple brains. Step 3 is use the multiple brains effect. Okay? And that's something that we do really well and that we do in here is that we don't want you to study or suffer or go through this alone. I want you to ask yourself, how long have you studied? Weeks, months, quarters, years. A lot of you are all over the place. And let me ask you, how long would you have studied if you would have had a community? Not like a mishmash, like, hey, post on a board and some people give you some opinions. You don't know who they are. You don't have any emotional connection, anything else. You don't have any feedback loops, just randomly posting all over the world. How long would you have been struggling if you would have had a core knit brain community that would have been all focused on the same things, going through the same philosophy and leading you through? Would have been a lot less, right? Would have been a lot less. So what we want you to do, and the way to make this easy, is to leverage all these brains. Everybody learning at the same thing and trying to interpret in their own way the structure that is set up as we go from universe down to detail and back and forth so we can integrate into this whole thing. So the way in which that comes to life is by turning the tables, making you, in a sense, the explainer, okay? Facilitated in an environment where you feel comfortable to share, be vulnerable, ask, explain all those things, and not left on your lonesome to say, I have to explain this. So what we do is we talk through hard questions from the beginning on. So I recommend you do that with people who know what they're talking about and that are following a similar philosophy. Now, I'm not a group guy in general. I do a lot of things alone, but I understand the purpose. And with the people that we bring in are super duper smart people to work, or I work with. And then we do the same thing in the coaching call. You've got to have a head of state, in a sense, that's going to look over the group, that's going to help them guide through, and that's going to be the central North Star that pulls you through. But what we do is we put the student in the different position so that they can start explaining it, knowing the whole time that they're going to do their darndest to explain it the best that they can. And the purpose is both to help someone else, to give in order to get, and to refine themselves. And the way they get refined is by the sun, the person that's leading the group, facilitating, shining down and saying, ooh, that's really good. Tweak it a little bit. Tweak it a little bit. Or what does someone else think? And you guys iterate together with a cultivated community. The whole time never worrying about, is anybody going to judge me? Am I going to fail? Or any of those things, because the feedback loop is what really matters. Now, you've got to go through the process of learning, big to small, but having that frequent feedback loop where you're using multiple brains to say, ooh, you're so close, but tweak it. or you've nailed it down, please explain how you got there. We're getting roots deep into learning. And so that's it. I know you may have been expecting, oh, look at all these processes, look at it this way. Yeah, there is a distinct way to look at the content. I'll have a podcast and go about that. But right now, without this philosophical foundation of these 3 steps, you will be lost in the woods. You may pass on your own kind of like chutzpah and logic, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be simple, and it's going to take a long time. So how you have thought has led you to this point. How you think from this point on will lead you to the results that you deserve. And so you got to decide what kind of results you deserve. Months of suffering, months of loss, months of destruction, and potential failure and variability, or smiles, realizations, confidence, and capability. Now I'm in the second game. I think you are too. So what we want to do is follow these things. Go through the 3 steps. Unearth your fears. Lay them out. What is really worrying you about the PMP? What's standing in your mind that making you suffer now by churning? Get that out so that we can make it present and we can deal with it. So that you clear up your space so that we can start looking at it the right way. From the big picture universe, how the system works, instead of the individual grains of sand on each planet. You'll never understand the situational perspective if you only look at look how much sand is on the Daytona Beach, Florida. Goodness me. How long do you want to spend studying sand? We got to go down, not up. Okay? And then thirdly, if you don't get in a group, you're cheating yourself. And if you're not in the right group, you're misleading yourself. Okay? So get in the right group that has a philosophical principle, that has a leader, that has guides, that gives you the opportunity to get feedback loops, to teach, to get it going, and knowing that you're going to get critiqued in a great way, tweaked up all the time, and improved. Because you want to reduce variability and risk. And that's what it does. So those are 3 big things that make the PMP exam easier. We're going to keep rolling them dice on our process. And as we go in there in the learning process, the universe, we go very simple through the steps of how we learn the content, to make it real, to make it visual, to set you up so that you can explain it. That's how it works. We're going to live with our results. I'm going to tell you about them all day long. We're 10 for 10. If we never have anybody pass again, I'm going to tell you. If we have everybody pass, we're going to tell you. If there's something in the middle, we're going to tell you. That's it. So, what do you do right now? Well, you got to take a look at yourself. That's it. It's not brain surgery. It's not rocket science. Go through these 3 steps. Do I have the ability? Am I brave enough? Can I do that and lay my fears out? You can do it. If you need help, I help you. My team will help you. My coaches will help you. Our students will help you. Everybody will help you. Am I looking at things from the big picture down? Maybe you don't have the lens. Nobody's laid it out. Come and talk to us. We can help you out. Put a little chat below. Dude, I want to talk to somebody. I want to see how you do it. I want to see this stuff. And then thirdly, get the multiple brain effect. Get involved. If you want to, if you dig that, just get involved with us and I'll help you out. It's as simple as that. So today is the first day to get you to make it easier. So take that action. Reach out to me if you need help. Obviously subscribe and do all that jazz, hit the notification button, blah, blah, blah on the podcast and YouTube. And then if you want to talk to me or my coaches or anything else, all you got to do is reach out Scott at pmmasterprep.com or phone number 757-759-5282. I get calls every day. So test me, or just come to the website, submit an application to the accelerator. That just gets us involved and has a conversation, because if you want to get help, we want to help you. Simple as that. Talk to you later. You're going to do great. Follow the process. Adios.